There's a fifth reason that some people lack assurance. Some lack assurance because they still feel the flesh strongly and wonder if they have been transformed. They feel the pull of sin. They sometimes feel the pull of doubt. They feel the hankering after the past life and the world and the old relationships. They feel the pull of recycled sinful experiences dragged back through their consciousness. And they wonder if the presence of all of that doesn't indicate that they are not a transformed person. They are not a new person in Christ, where old things are gone and new have come. But what they're really experiencing is the battle of Romans 7, right? And in Romans 7, Paul says, there is a principle in me that's in my flesh. And it's there all the time, and it's powerful, and it's relentless. And it makes me do what I don't want to do and not do what I want to do. And there's another principle in me, and it's the love for the law of God. And the law of God is holy, just, and good. And I love that law, and I want to do that law. But I find this war going on in me, and he even says, "Oh, wretched man that I am, who's going to deliver me from the body of this death?" In ancient days, when somebody murdered a victim, one form of punishment was to strap the corpse of the victim to the killer. And as the corpse decayed, the decay ate its way into the living murderer and took his life in a horrific way. Paul said, that's how I feel sometimes, like I'm this new man strapped to a corpse that's eating at me. But that's what it means to be a Christian in an unglorified state. That's why Romans 8 says we wait for the redemption of the body. That's why Paul said, I can't wait till I receive that glorified body. Philippians 3:20 and 21, like unto the body of the glory of Jesus. Do I have so much of sin in my life? Is there so much of the presence of the flesh in my life that I'm not really new? I'm not really changed? How do you know? Well, I think it's easy to know. Paul knew because he loved the law of God and he hated the sin that he saw in him. Before you came to Christ, you loved the sin and hated the law of God. It's about an affection, isn't it? That's why Jonathan Edwards wrote so much about religious affections, because they really are the mark of salvation. You once lived in sin and you relished it and you loved it. Now you desire deliverance from it. You once were self-confident and trusted in your own goodness, and now you judge yourself as a sinner before God. You once wanted nothing to do with God, and you wanted to run away from his authority or rebel against it. Now you want everything to do with him. You desire him. You desire to know him and to yield to him and to please him. And that's the indication that you're new. You used to deny that you're a sinner. Now you confess that you're a sinner. You used to have no interest in cleansing your heart. Now you long to have it cleansed. You used to run from any attitude of penitence, and now there is penitence in your heart upon any and every sin. And so it's that affection that runs toward the law of God, toward God himself, toward Christ. Bonner, the Scottish preacher whose little church I visited one day with Eric Alexander over in Scotland, a very little church, but a very powerful man. He wrote a beautiful old hymn. It goes like this. I was a wandering sheep. I did not love the fold. I did not love my Savior's voice. I would not be controlled. I was a wayward child. I didn't love my home. I didn't love my Father's voice. I loved afar to roam. The shepherd sought his sheep. The Father sought his child. He followed me o'er vale and hill, o'er deserts waste and wild. He found me nigh to death, famished and faint and alone. He bound me with the bands of love. He saved this wandering one. Jesus my shepherd is. 'Twas he that loved my soul. 'Twas he that washed me in his blood. 'Twas he that made me whole. 'Twas he that sought the lost, that found the wandering sheep. 'Twas he that brought me to the fold. 'Tis he that still doth keep I was a wandering sheep, I would not be controlled, but now I love my shepherd's voice. I love the fold. I was a wayward child, I once preferred to roam, but now I love my Father's voice. I love his home. That captures it, doesn't it? It's that change of affection that demonstrates that I am his and he is mine. The conflict is there, but the affections show us so is a transformed inner man.